Imagine being a creator. Innovate storytelling. Inspire the next generation. Imagine. Innovate. Inspire. Unlock your potential with Pinellas County Schools District Application Program. Learn more at pcsb.org/DAP.
Good evening. My name is Ellen Truskowski, and I am the Director of Student Assignment, and I am here today with Mandy Leathers to go over the whole process of everything that is what we call DAP, or District Application Programs, which are Pinellas County Schools Magnet and Fundamental Programs. And before we get started, I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining us when you could be out in a line getting gas or other supplies for the incoming storm. So we thank you so much. If not, just know that this is recorded, so at any time you can come back and watch at a later date, and we're always available for any questions or concerns you may have. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Mandy.
Thank you. Our contact information will definitely be posted there at the end, the phone number where you can reach both Ellen and I, and then our email address, as well as once the video is posted on Facebook, you can add your comments down there and we'll be sure to respond. So thanks again for being here. All right, we are going to get started with just some basic information. You'll see our district application programs referred a lot of the times to as DAP, and that's just an acronym that stands for District Application Programs, which refers to our 87 magnet and fundamental programs. All of the programs require an application. There's a randomized selection process, and then the offers that go out must be accepted in order for your student to attend that program. All of our DAP programs are one of two models. Either the magnet or fundamental program is school-wide, which means 100% of the students are a part of that magnet program, have applied and accepted seats to be there. Or they are programs within a school, which means that there is a zone population of students along with the magnet program and or programs that are housed on that campus. Some schools have geographical application areas, which means you need to live within a certain area in order to be able to apply. And then there are also transportation areas. So whereas you may be able to apply, you would only receive transportation if you lived within a certain geographic application area based upon your residential address. And we have some resources on our website that we can direct you to help figure that out. It's also on the back of the guide, the DAP guide on the website, and several other places where you can figure that out and what that looks like. Magnet programs provide arterial transportation, so that's a little bit different than the transportation that you would receive to your zone school. It's not necessarily within your neighborhood. Arterial transportation means that it's more of the major arteries or the major roadways within the county. So you may need to travel a little ways to get your student to that bus stop, as they are centralized locations that would then take kids from different areas to the school. All of the magnet programs are programs centered around specific interests or themes. Some of those are included below, like arts or career academies. We have our advanced studies programs like Cambridge ACE and IB. Centers for Gifted Studies. We have dual language programs, along with health and wellness themes, many STEM offerings throughout the county, as well as technology and innovation programs. So what that means is that students still follow the standard curriculum. All of the standard courses that would be offered in any school are offered within our magnet schools, but they are enriched with that innovative curriculum and different offerings, thematic integration, integrated learning environments that go more focused around student-specific interests and surrounding the theme. Our fundamental programs are structured in a way that offers a family-focused environment. They are highly structured and referred to as a back-to-basics approach. So there's a strong commitment there from parents and teachers to ensure quality educational experiences, fostering responsibility and discipline for students. You can see some of the key program requirements for our fundamental programs there, such as daily homework. There is a dress code that goes beyond that of Pinellas County Schools dress code. There are increased expectations for behavior for students, and then required monthly parent meetings for parents to attend. Most of our fundamental programs, transportation is not provided at all. Except for Thurgood Marshall, where if you live within the South County application area, you could qualify for transportation, and our high school programs provide some type of limited transportation as well. But the rest of our fundamental programs would not. Most programs don't have entrance criteria for academics, so a few do. Those are listed below. You'll find academic entrance criteria for our Centers for Gifted Studies, Centers for Literacy Innovation, and Gibbs PCCA has an audition and sometimes an interview process as well. Our high school ACE and IB programs also have entrance criteria for academics, which are required to be offered a seat. We mentioned geographical application areas a little bit earlier. Our county-wide programs allow anyone in Pinellas County to apply. So when you're looking at the programs, you're looking at the district application program guide on the website, you're visiting our offerings at our DAP fairs, so you're going to find out that some programs are county-wide, which means it doesn't matter where you live within the county, you're able to apply for that program. Geographical application area programs only allow addresses within the designated area to apply. So you'll see some differentiators there. Application areas are based upon your residential address. Most of our elementary and middle school application areas are based on your zoned middle school. High school programs are based on your zoned high school, and to determine your zoned schools, you can visit www.pcsb.org/zone. You would enter your address there, and it would populate your the schools that you're zoned for based upon your address. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about navigating your options. There are a ton of options for you and your family to find the best place for your student to be successful within Pinellas County Schools. And at times it can be overwhelming. So we're going to talk about ways that we can learn a little bit more about our programs. As I said, you have a lot of options with Pinellas County Schools. Your first option is always your zoned or your neighborhood school. And this allows families to attend the school based upon the residential address. And that, again, you can find at www.pcsb.org/zone. So that's always your first option. Another option would be a district application program, which are our magnet and fundamental programs. And this allows families to apply for specialized programs that highlight student interests, specialized themes, and our career academies are also included in our district application programs for the most part. Special assignment requests is another option within Pinellas County Schools, and this one allows families to attend a non-zoned, non-DAP school. So this would be, I would just prefer to apply to have my student attend this school versus another, but it's not my zone school, and it's not a magnet or a fundamental school. And with special assignment requests, you would not receive transportation at all. Special attendance permits allow families residing outside of Pinellas County to attend one of our schools. So families residing in Hillsborough or Pasco or Manatee can apply to attend one of the schools or programs within our county with a special attendance permit, and those are based upon available capacity. The next thing you're going to want to do is research your options. You always want to start with your zoned school. So again, to find your zoned school, you would go to that address and enter your house number and your street address, and then learn more about your neighborhood school by visiting its website. You can visit your zoned school for a tour. You can meet with administration and learn about what is being offered there right within your neighborhood. To learn more about your DAP options or our district application programs or magnet and fundamental programs, you can go to pcsb.org/DAP and download the DAP guide to get brief descriptions of all of the different options within the county. You can also visit the DAP school websites to learn more about specific programs. Next, you'll get the opportunity to explore your options. And when we think about our district application programs, the first opportunity you have to do that is at our district application program fairs. October 10th is the North County Fair from 6 to 7:30 p.m. at Tarpon Springs High School. The schools that will be in attendance are listed below. You can see elementary, we have Curtis Fundamental, Elisa Nelson, Garrison Jones, Kings Highway, McMillan Booth, Sandy Lane, and Tarpon Springs Fundamental. For middle school options at our North County DAP Fair, you'll see Clearwater Fundamental, Dunedin Highland Middle, Eastlake, John Hopkins, Oak Grove, Safety Harbor, and Tarpon Springs. High schools that will be in attendance are Clearwater, Countryside, Dunedin, Eastlake, Gibbs, Largo, Osceola, Palm Harbor University, Pinellas Park, Richard O. Jacobs Technical High School, and Tarpon Springs High School. October 19th is our all-county DAP fair, and that will be from 9 o'clock to 11:30 a.m. at Largo High School. All programs, all district application programs, all of our magnet and fundamental programs will be in attendance that morning, along with some of our CTAE programs. And then finally, we'll have on October 24th, the South County DAP Fair from 6 to 7:30 p.m. at Northeast High School. The following schools will be in attendance there. For elementary, you'll find Bay Point, Bay Vista Fundamental, Douglas L. Jamerson, Gulf Beaches, Gulfport Montessori, James Sanderlin, Lakeview Fundamental, Madeira Beach, Melrose, Midtown Academy, Pasadena Fundamental, and Perkins. Middle schools that will be in attendance include Azalea, Bay Point, James Sanderlin, John Hopkins, Madeira Beach, Mangrove Bay, Thurgood Marshall, and Tyrone. High schools, Boca Ciega, Dixie Hollins, Gibbs, Lakewood, Largo, Northeast, Osceola, Pinellas Park, Richard O. Jacobson Technical High School, and St. Petersburg High School.
For those of you who have never attended a DAP fair, if you think of a trade fair or a trade event, every single school or program is going to have a table. They're going to have information to pass out. They'll have information about their discovery nights or their tours or shadowing. And a lot of times they'll have some kind of interactive activity for you that kind of tells you a little bit more about what their program's about. So it's a good way to kind of get a little bit overwhelmed, but also to kind of see what all your options are before starting to narrow it down. So once you go to the fair, if you're able to, like I said, you'll be overwhelmed. There's 26 different elementary school programs. We've got 21 middle programs, and we've got 41 high school programs. So it can be a very overwhelming experience. But the whole idea is just to kind of expose you to what different options you have. Once you kind of go, you'll get those materials. You can start to look at it a little bit and be able to kind of start to narrow down. Maybe it's more of your child is interested in the arts, or maybe it's more STEM. But start to narrow down, and you could do some research on those programs that interested you. And part of this you can do a couple different ways. So discovery nights are one way, and we have them posted. So if you go to www.pcsb.org/DAP, you'll see that there's a column in the left-hand side, and one of those tabs is going to say Discovery Nights. And so for every single program, we have listed there a link that'll take you to the school's website, as well as what date and what time their Discovery Night is. And the Discovery Night is a nice event because you can go to the school, you're going to meet the administration, you're going to get the chance to meet some of the teachers who are there with the program. You'll get information about the different programs, you'll get a campus tour, and it really kind of gives you a better feel, a little bit more in-depth dive on what the program is all about. Like I just said, we will be sending out some flyers with the different Discovery Night dates. And then all of the websites should have information about their Discovery Night. Additionally, most programs or all programs will offer tours and shadowing opportunities. Depending on the program, sometimes they're more frequent, sometimes it might be once a week, sometimes it's just scheduled dates. We will have shadowing opportunity information on our website with those programs that shared the information with us. Not all middle school programs will offer shadowing opportunities, and not all high school programs do. Most of the high school ones do offer a shadow opportunity. And for those of you who are unaware of what a shadowing opportunity is, your child would get to go, and it's basically a field trip for the day. They would get assigned to shadow or follow one of their current students. So they will go to the classes, they will experience the hallways in between classes, they'll get to meet some of the teachers, and they get to see what it's like and experience a day, or sometimes the school might do half a day, they don't want you to miss too much school, or sometimes it might even just be a class if it's a specialized class for that. All that information should be on all of the programs' websites, so you just reach out to them. Most will have either a form or a contact name on who to contact to set up a shadowing experience. And like I said, there will be a chart on our website with those schools or programs that have shared that information with us. The other things that we can say is just be prepared. So you have until January 7th to start to prepare. One of the easiest thing to do is if you do not have a Focus Parent Portal account, go ahead and set that up. It's very easy. You would just go to www.focus.pcsb.org. You'll see a green button on the lower left. It'll say Create Focus Parent Portal Account. You'll basically enter a few details and an email address, and it'll send you a link that you verify, and then you will have a parent account. I will warn you or give you a heads up that if you do not live within Pinellas County Schools, you're not going to be able to use this account to apply. You would have to apply using something called a special assignment or a special attendance permit, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But if you are in county, you're going to be using the Focus account to go to the student reservation system. And we don't want to overwhelm you today. When we get closer on January 6th, we will walk you through the whole application program. You'll be able to walk around with us and apply, and we'll go over all the different priorities, all the different things that may impact an application. We do want to give you some important dates to mark your calendar. The first one are the fairs, which we shared. There's also a link on the DAP website that will say important dates, and it has all the different dates listed, everything from our next Facebook or YouTube Live event to the application period, the acceptance period, something called a newly invited sibling priority week. Once again, we don't want to overwhelm you at this time. We'll kind of go and take it in steps. So when we get closer to that time, we will then have another informational fair. So just giving you what you need to try to make it a little bit easier and a little bit less overwhelming. Discovery nights will be starting. The first one is next week, and they will run through January 14th. You could go and visit the schools at that time. January 7th through the 17th is when the application period is open. If you are in county, you would need to apply at that time period to have your best chances, as that's when the most seats are available. During the late application period, there's still a chance to apply or change your decision and apply for a different one, but there's not as many seats open at that time. It's whatever's left over from the initial application period. And then you would come back February 12th through the 21st to accept. Just put out a little bit different. We do have a cutoff time of 5 p.m. We do that so that we're able to assist. So my office will stay open. We will have almost everybody working. So if you are having a technical issue or you're trying to apply, there will be someone there to assist you during that application period. We will also post on the website and have different acceptance and application parent nights, where we'll be at several different schools around the county, helping you apply, answering any questions, and just trying to make that process easier for you. We will be back again on January 6th at 5:30, and that's where we're going to walk you through that application process. We will have it up live, so you will walk with us as either Mandy or I apply for a student. We'll also go over the different types of priorities at that time, ranking the program so you have a better idea of what that ranking means, and anything else you might need to apply. You would use the time between the fairs and the discovery nights and the campus tours to kind of narrow it down, because you can apply from 1 up to 5 programs. So if you kind of have going into that time period 5 already picked up, it's going to make that process a little bit easier. I do want to give you a heads up that the priorities only apply to the first ranked choice. And once again, when we get to January 6th, we'll go a little bit more in depth onto what that all means. So you're going to apply January 7th through the 17th. It does not matter if you were up at midnight that first night, or if you're applying at the last hour at 4:55 on the last day. It's a randomized process. So as you apply, there is a computer-based randomizer for that. So at the time of the initial application period, it doesn't matter when you apply, just that you do apply. You will apply through Focus. When you sign in, you could probably already see it there already. On the left-hand side, there's a link that says Student Reservation System. If you go in now, you're going to see that currently the late application period's open, so you would not be able to apply for the 25-26 school year, but you can at least see where you would go. So hopefully we didn't overwhelm you too much. It is a lot of information, and we like to start early. So you have about 2 weeks before our first fair. You can rewatch this anytime. You can contact Mandy or I at any time, and we will be happy to assist or answer any of your questions. But if you can, like we said, go to the fair first, find out all your options, start to narrow it down, visit those campuses, attend those discovery nights, and then the next couple of months, try to narrow it down to up to 5 choices. So at this time, we're going to see if any of you have questions that we can answer.
We have questions. All right, I'll give you the first one here. Is there a place where we could find the classes included in a program?
So it is one thing that we have been trying to encourage more schools to do. Several of the schools on their websites will have what they call a course selection or course offering sheet, where you're able to see that progression. Some of them, it's a matter of just reaching out to the program coordinator, and that will be, if you go to the website, a lot of times underneath the programs tab, the information for that specific program will be there. I will say, more and more have been posting those course sequence or the scope sequence of those. They're not all up, but if not, just reach out to that program coordinator and they'll let you know which program or which classes belong with that program.
All right. Is the new Mangrove Bay Middle School 100% magnet, or does it go by a specific zoned area?
No, it's 100% magnet. So all of the students that attend Mangrove Bay live within the South County application area, and they have applied and accepted invitations to attend.
Thank you. How does it work when I have an AVID kid? Does every school have an AVID program?
Not every school offers AVID. It's a wonderful elective option. And you may hear people reference to the AVID program, and they'll sometimes think that it's a DAP program. They're not seeing it when they go to apply. It is an elective offering that kind of gets students thinking about that college-going culture. Mm-hmm. A lot of times, depending on the program, they'll be able to take AVID classes as an elective in addition to the magnet program. And some magnet programs, like Largo Excel, actually incorporate AVID classes in their scope and sequence for their elective classes as part of that program.
Focus Fundamental too.
Are the fairs just for parents to visit, or are students and children welcome?
Students and children are always welcome. Yeah. Sometimes the schools bring interactive activities specifically for the kids, and it's a good chance for them to just lay eyes on the administrators that are in attendance and the teachers from the specific programs that come. Yeah, definitely bring the kids.
It's a family event.
Sorry, I missed the button there. Can you please explain in more detail the proximity priority?
Okay. So is a proximity priority. For elementary and middle school, it's typically about 20%. And then for most high schools, it's 25%. And what that means is once all the other priorities or preferred preferences are offered. So for example, elementary to middle school, if it's the same thematic pathway, there might be something called a feeder pattern program. We offer priorities for siblings. We offer priorities for full-time staff who work at that program. Once those priorities are given, there's a remaining set of seats. So depending on that priority for that school, whether it's 20%, 25%, or we do have 3 schools that have a 50% priority, that remaining available seats would go to whatever percent. So if you had 100 seats left over and it was a 20% proximity priority, 20 seats would go to those who live closest to the school. So it's not a radius, and it gets confusing. It's not a radius. It changes every year because that really depends on where people are applying from. So some years it might be half a mile, some years it might be 2 miles. That number changes each year based on who's applying. So it's a certain proportion of available seats after the other priorities are given that would go to those who live closest to the school.
And then just to add, it's only for our kindergarten, 6th and 9th grade seats. So it's not all seats, it's just that incoming grade level that applies with that proximity.
Okay, for the gifted studies, where do we submit the children's test results to qualify?
So if you are private or you're not a current PCS student, if you go to pcsb.org/gifted, there is a name and email of the contact to send it to. You can also send it to the program coordinator on the school's website. If you have not yet started your eligibility process, there is information on who to contact if you're private. And then there's also, you can just ask your school. You could start with the guidance counselor or the teacher and ask about the gifted screening. So we do a universal screening process in the county. But if you wanted to get the ball rolling a little bit earlier, it's just a matter of talking to the guidance counselor or the teacher, and they would start that process. For elementary, you would need the gifted eligibility. For the other grade levels, you would want an active EP, which stands for educational plan, and that just basically is saying that you met the gifted eligibility criteria and that there are some goals in place for learning and behaviors.
Can we apply for SAR also at the same time? And when is the SAR period?
So the SAR period, that timeline hasn't quite been finalized. It'll be posted as soon as it is, but you can definitely apply for both the DAP, a magnet, and our fundamental program along with an SAR. The way that will work is whichever you accept last will cancel out the other.
Can you talk a little bit more about the DAP fairs and go over those dates and where the locations again, please?
Sure. So the first fair will be held October 10th at Tarpon Springs High School from 6 to 7:30 p.m. And all of our North County application area programs, along with our countywide programs, will be in attendance there. So the elementary, middle, and high school programs are listed there on the screen. You can also go back to the video later on and see which specific ones. They're also posted on the website at www.pcsb.org/DAP. And then the next DAP fair will be held at Largo High School, and that one is on October 19th. And that one is in the morning. So you'll have a couple of nighttime opportunities, but then this one is from 9 to 11:30 a.m. at Largo, and all programs in the county are required to attend this one. So you'll get the opportunity to, visit any program that you'd like on the morning of October 19th at Largo High School. And what it looks like is you come in, there will be welcome tables. We'll have copies of the DAP guides available if you weren't able to access it online, or your student moving up in grade level didn't receive one at school. And then it's just tables set up, and the schools bring displays. They have informational cards that they'll hand out to you with next steps. Come visit us for our discovery night. Come attend one of our shadowing events, and it's just tables lined up all around the room with representatives from the schools. Sometimes they'll bring students to talk to your students, so that the kids can ask questions from their peers that have been experienced within the program. Some of our veterinary programs bring their animals. There's a lot of people. There's a lot going on. You'll have directions. You'll have signs available to help you find where the different programs are located. There'll be flags that say, middle school programs, elementary school programs, signs that, point in the direction of where the things are located to best assist. The final DAP fair will be held on October 24th, and that will be at Northeast High School, and that is at night from 6 to 7:30 p.m. You can see a list there of the schools that will be in attendance. So they're exciting. They're a lot of fun.
Are there virtual discovery fair opportunities?
No, we don't have, no. So you can go to their websites. You can see a lot of schools will have some video tours posted. Some will have some information. Some will have a Points of Pride video that'll kind of go over a little bit about the program and what it has to offer. So really going to the websites, going to a tour, that type of thing would be the best bet for that. We do not offer virtual fairs this year.
Are ESE students able to apply for any of the programs? Do most of these programs honor IEPs?
Yes.
Yes. The only thing I do want to clarify is the arterial transportation. So if the IEP says there's curb-to-curb transportation, it's only offered if that magnet program is at their zone school. If not, the only transportation that is offered is arterial. And during that application, when we go on January 6th, and we go through that application program, we'll be pointing that out. But you would have to give up the curb-to-curb for arterial transportation.
Where can we find what the school requirements for programs like IB or medical?
So the IB and ACE criteria can be found there. The schools have them posted on their website. So if you went directly to Palm Harbor University High School, for example's webpage, and went to programs and selected IB, they're going to have that entrance criteria there. You'll find it on the Advanced Studies website as well. And then our Centers for Wellness and Medical Professions, they do not have academic entrance criteria at all.
If we are in a fundamental middle school, do we get first choice for a fundamental high school?
If you apply, so the first thing is you would have what we call feeder pattern priority, but you have to apply and you have to list that fundamental high school as your number one choice. So if you're in Thorogood or Madeira Beach or Clearwater Fundamental, you would have to apply for either Dunedin, Osceola, or Boca Ciega, and that would have to be your number one choice. If it is not, then that feeder pattern priority would not apply. A couple slides ago, before when we were talking about it, is those priorities only apply to your number one ranked choice. So you would have to apply, and you would have to mark the fundamental high school as number one to receive that priority.
My child attends a program at a high school. Will I get sibling priority for his brother coming into 9th grade?
If it's the same program, yes. So we have
and your student has to still be there. So they couldn't be graduating at the end of this year. They would have to be in 10th or 11th grade next year when your incoming student, they have to attend the same program, same time.
Which schools offer feeder pattern programs?
So most of the elementary, with the exception of Gulfport Montessori, we don't have a Montessori middle school option at the current time. Most of the elementary schools will have a feeder pattern to middle school. The only middle schools that have a feeder pattern are fundamental to high school fundamental. But it's primarily that feeder pattern exists in our elementary programs to middle school.
If we don't get any of our choices, are we automatically enrolled in our zone school?
So it depends. If you are a charter school student applying for a DAP, so a lot of times we have charter schools who are K-8, 8th grade comes, they apply for a 9th grade DAP program. If you're a charter or private and you do not get into one of the DAP, you will have to register or make a reservation. If you are a PCS student currently, non-charter, and you apply and don't get it, yes, you would be automatically enrolled in your zone school.
Is AVID similar to Gifted?
AVID is a college preparatory elective program. So there's a lot of college-going culture talk. They teach students strategies for organization. They teach writing strategies, reading strategies. They offer tutorials within the class for students, so that when they're enrolled in an algebra honors course, they can have somewhere to have assistance facilitated. So it's a very structured nationwide program that's amazing, but it's not the same as Gifted, no.
Do veterans have any preference or priority for their children?
So we do honor military priority if it is the initial entry point into the district. So if you had active military order or duty orders, changes, and you're coming into the district, at the initial time of the district, you are given a military priority.
Are campus tours separate from shadowing opportunities? Are they done in groups? Can parents go on the campus tour, or is it only for students?
So everyone kind of offers that in a unique way. It would be different. A shadowing opportunity is for your student to experience the program. So that would be there's, actually sitting in the class with another student. The campus tour is more for the parent and the student to visit the school, see the campus, the classrooms, et cetera. And sometimes they're offered individually to families. Sometimes schools have a standard set time where they offer, only on Thursdays in the mornings from, this time to this time. So your best bet is to visit the school's website. That's your first option. If it's not listed there, it should be. If campus tours are not listed there, you'll want to contact the program coordinator or the magnet coordinator, it could be called, and they can absolutely give you more information about that.
Are there any sports-related programs?
We have the Health and Wellness Leadership Academy at Mangrove Bay, which has a health and wellness focus, which focuses on active, healthy living, which, while it's not necessarily sports in general, it is focused on, a healthy mindset, healthy living.
So there are programs like ALMA at Lakewood High School. Mm-hmm. It is not a DAP program. So when you get to high school, a lot of high schools have other career academies that are very similar. And at one school it might be a DAP program, but another school it's not. So there are opportunities. If it's not at your high school, you can look to apply for a special assignment request to go to one of those. And our CTA website, if you go to pcsb.org, and you either look up department by CTA or you're looking for career technical adult education, they have a great list of all those different programs. So there are some that are a little bit related, just not as DAP programs.
Is the only application program at Eastlake High School the engineering program?
Yes.
Wow, Mandy, that was quick.
Yes. Well, we do. I'm sorry. We get questions a lot about their. They also have a biomed strand, but that's not a DAP. The engineering at Eastlake is the only district application program. Yes.
When do we apply for our zoned schools?
So if you are new to PCSB, so you're going to be an incoming kindergarten, that's going to open up in January. Off the top of my head, I do not have that date right now, but it would be on the registration page. So if you go to pcsb.org/registration, that date should be there. And then in February, there would be the Ready Set Kindergarten. And that also would allow you to go to the zone school. They do kind of an open house. You meet the kindergarten teachers, the administration, learn a little bit about the school. And they also allow you to enroll on those dates as well for that. But you wouldn't actually do for the 25-26 school year. You wouldn't be able to enroll or do a new registration until at least January.
Drum roll, please. It's the last question. Do Pinellas County Schools employees get priority?
To the magnet and fundamental programs, there is a priority for full-time employees who work at the school that the student will be attending. So if you are a PCS employee and you work at the magnet program or the school that houses the magnet program that you want your school to or your student to attend, then you would receive that if you're full-time employee.
And after the next board meeting, we may have a little bit different response. One of the proposals this year is looking at similar to that proximity priority where there's 20% after the other priorities. We have proposed doing like a 5% priority for PCSB employees. So not taking a ton of seats out, but also giving you a little bit of an advantage for being a PCSB employee. But we will not know that until after the board meeting.
By the way, I was kidding. Somebody just snuck another question in there.
Okay.
Does any of the high schools offer dual enrollment for trades like through PTEC, Pinellas Technical Education College?
Quite a few.
Yeah.
So just about all, it's becoming more and more popular. But yes, so there's dual enrollment through PTech. There's also dual enrollment in several of the other as far as just regular college and early enrollment as well.
That is our final question of the night.
Well, I thank you so much for joining us. Feel free to rewatch. If we did not answer the questions, drop them in there. Mandy and I do go back in and we'll answer all the questions that were there. And if we can't answer those, or you're not able to put a question in, please feel free to reach out and email either Mandy or myself or give us a call, and we will be happy to assist. We know that this is a very overwhelming. Not all districts have 87 different choices. So whatever we can do to try to make this process a little bit easier to understand and a little bit less overwhelming, we are more than happy to do so. Please stay safe, and we will see you back either Friday or Monday.
Thanks so much. Those numbers those easy numbers to contact us, the office is 727-588-6210. And then an email address that's just easy to remember that will get to either one of us directly is DAP@pcsb.org. So you can email us or give us a call. Again, stay safe. Thanks for joining.